the Bangladesh SMEs during the pandemic, coping and with the challenges and the mapping the opportunities. That has been the title of my paper. Initially, I will start with a small background. Bangladesh, as you all know, is a great development story. It's an amazing story. You know, the story is sometimes mind-boggling, I would say. It literally rose from ashes to prosperity after we had nothing, an $8 billion economy, which has now come to the level of 350 billion plus. You know, so that has been the story, and the economy has really moved pretty fast, and I will come to that story. And the pandemic induced financial crisis, without any doubt, has also affected Bangladesh and SME sector, but government has, of course, been very smart in providing the stimulus package for SMEs and ensured enough supply of liquidity, and that has really helped us, you know, in facing the challenges. And I think the challenge still remains about the timely implementation of the packages, and I think there lies the most important part. As you can see from the slide, Bangladesh economy is now in the 7% club, and the per capita income has really made a jump, and it has been a quantum jump. It's rising at a faster rate compared to its neighbors, likely to, you know, I'm talking about the pre-pandemic kind of figures. It was likely to surpass India by 2030 and reach $5,700 dollars per capita income. Bangladesh has also enhanced digital connectivity and financial inclusion and extended social safety net programs to the factories working, and also there are many important factors which are really pushing this growth. The SMEs have been contributing, you know, substantially in our growth process, and particularly by providing employment to unskilled or semi-skilled workforce and producing suitable goods and services for that. And the sector has been contributing about 25% to the GDP and employing about 8 million people, which is a substantial contribution to the economy. In the pre-pandemic situation, we have seen that, you know, the almost 1/3 of the enterprise workforce really were engaged in the SMEs, and and SMEs contribute was on the, and about just in terms of percentage share of the enterprises workforce engaged in different types of enterprises, you can see 54% is were in cottage, and about medium about 14%, small about 25%, and 2% only in terms of micro. But if you can see the numbers, you know, the 80% of the enterprises are really micro. So there is a dichotomy there. Just about 11% of all the enterprises are SMEs, and 88% are the cottage enterprises. And if you can see that in general, the of the 13% of the Bangladesh enterprises being really supporting export. And the ratio is significantly higher for the SMEs. 26% of small enterprises and 48% of the medium enterprises are engaged in export business, although large sector is about 86%. So this is even the SMEs are also playing important role in terms of exports. The major the favorable monetary policy really provided us the scope for improvement of SME finance here in Bangladesh. The amount of SME credit disbursed and the number of SMEs receiving credit both were more than doubled during the period of 2010 to 15, and the process is still continuing. And but the growth of credit has been slightly slower after that. And even during the SMEs, initially in the pandemic, initially the credit was not growing, but now things are picking up thanks to the pressure of the government and the central bank. This is now coming up, and more credit is now being pushed to the SMEs. Although even in terms of implementation of the stimulus, I thought more efforts need to be made for the better implementation of the SME finance, particularly during this pandemic period. The major challenges that are being faced by the SME growth factors are of course, the number one factor is that the women entrepreneurs are still not in big numbers, and their potential remain untapped. Less than 1/3 of the workforce are engaged, are women, and more can come in, and the entrepreneurs number is still quite low among the women entrepreneurs. Half of the enterprises are located around the two large cities, the Dhaka and Chittagong, and the rural areas still need to be really revamped, and then it should get more access. Half of the access to formal finance due to really goes to the not even half actually goes to the SMEs. So there is a real problem with the formal finance, and mainly because of the lending rate, which remains pretty high. Although the central bank has innovated some strategies of refinancing so that the rates could come down, even then the rates are very high. And as well, this is highly supervised credit, so the rates can be high. Strict requirements like the collateral and the license, the trade license, all that, this also hinder the smooth flow of the access. And of course, the private banks and many other banks are now find it not cost effective always to go for the credit for the SMEs at the rate which has been given by the government. So, but yet some other organizations are trying to reach them, particularly the MFIs and others are trying to reach the SMEs. So these are the barriers. Now, if you really want to go forward, even with this barrier, we can really see that we need to identify the areas which the SME policy 2019 has really elaborated. I thought SME policy of 2019 has been a very smart policy move, and it has tried to identify the role of important sectors related to development of the SMEs. It has also tried to create necessary infrastructure and cluster development for expansion. As you know, SME Foundation has created a very good database on the cluster-based SMEs. I think these areas are well known, particularly light engineering areas like Bogra or gesture or even other areas, one knows where to really go. So I thought time is to, reach those areas. It has also tried to improve the SME-friendly environment, particularly in the policies. It has asked for, finance, ICT, market linkages. So this has been highlighted in the policy. The policy also hopes to establish public-private partnership, a lot of private-private partnerships, so that SMEs can flourish, increase R&D for enhancing SME sector competitiveness, and also the policy also plans to coordinate among different stakeholders, so to ensure coherent actions for the SMEs. Next is pandemic, the issue on the coping with the pandemic. We really, it came all on a sudden, as you know, this pandemic, we were not prepared for it. And this has created a situation, we were almost at the threshold of going 8+ growth. Around that time, the COVID came. The World Bank since then has been projecting a meager 1.6% of real GDP growth for us because of the COVID outbreak. And the previous projection of them was only 5.6% for us. But the ADB projects slightly better. The latest projection of the September, they said 6.8 growth for this year, 8% growth based on growing labor productivity and enhanced economic resilience. But Bangladesh government is expecting even higher growth and hence stronger recovery due to robust remittance performance and export growth in recent months. Bangladesh Bank and others have provided a lot of facilities so that they want to recover fast and have a V-shaped recovery. If we can get access to the vaccines and the medicines. But even then, even without them, I thought Bangladesh will be doing much better than what has been projected by the World Bank, which is no near. ADB even will do far better than ADB. That's my in a perception. The SMEs have been severely affected during the partial lockdown, everywhere, not only in Bangladesh, because we had a partial lockdown. We used to call it a public holidays, but during those periods, SMEs revenue decreased by 66%, as 76% of the products remained unsold around that time. 42% of the employees received partial salary. 4% did not be able to sustain if lockdown continued for 4 months. So, but then the government was smart enough to selectively open the economy and creating enough positive environment so that SME can really come back. Even then, even though we have opened up, the SME finance has significantly decreased if we compare it with the last year. April-June figure of the last year and the April-June figure of this year. And obviously, April-June figure was a terrible period. So the number of loans disbursed to medium enterprises decreased by about 21%, and that for small enterprises decreased by 40%. A similar pattern is visible in terms of amount of loans disbursed to SMEs. But again, things have picked up of late, and these figures probably will be outlier at some point in time. Next is CMSMEs. The cottage micro and the small MSC stimulus package that we have been given. This was a timely and a very flexible approach. The government declared this stimulus package for CMSMEs, established refinance schemes to implement the packages, ensured easy access, easing internal credit risk rating system, establishing help desk, etc. And particularly for women, these have been created, and credit guarantee scheme has been created. And an initiative has been taken to monitor the implementation process. So all these are likely to improve the finance for the CMSMEs as well. So it seems that we are getting the rewarding outcomes, because CMSME loans are going to rural areas in the Q2 of the 22 year, and we can see that fund has started going. The share of the rural CMSE loans in total CMSE loans during January, March 20, and during April, June has been better. This is, and incentives have been given, and although not adequate, and implementation is still the challenge. That's what has been identified. So given these kind of barriers and the challenges, let's go back to the ways forward. What we have in mind in the ways forward. We think a larger share for SMEs in total stimulus should have been ensured. We have about 20,000 for the SMEs directly, and another about 15 to 20,000 indirectly. So I thought this could be more, given the need for it. Significantly lagging behind India and Thailand in terms of the stimulus. We have about 22%. Malaysia 24, Thailand 33, and India 38%. And a larger share for SMEs could have been ensured, taking the macroeconomic significance of the sector. And what we can learn from the international practices. This is we can see that it have been watching, all around the world, that work time during the pandemic period, they have reduced the work time, temporary layoff, given the sick leave, that's how they adjusted to the emergencies. Tax deferrals and public procurements from the SMEs have been ensured. Direct lending by public institutions to the SMEs, and monitoring impacts and enhancing governance. So these were the international experiences. Let me look at our policy recommendation. And one of the ideas should be that we should first try to really realize our SME policy 2019 and learning from our own experience. As you know, 2019 SME, as I said, it's a smart policy thanks to the minister here and his team. This is a policy which really has been trying to address the lack of access to finance. Number two, lack of access to technology. Number three, addressing the absence of sufficient market linkages. Number four, insufficient human resource development. It really wants to address that issue, and low level of business support services that exist. This policy wants to support that. I thought if that can be done, this will be something really good. And next is we need to be innovative in collaborating with other stakeholders, particularly the bank MFI, Microfinance Institute linkage could really help us a lot. Nearly 33 million borrowers take money from the MFI. So if we can find a linkage up with them, and about 82% of them are women actually, so that would have been a very good thing. And again, the digital financial service can be the new way out for for the SMEs, and accelerating this digital drive could really take us far. And this is possible because now is the age for data management. Now is the age for artificial intelligence. Now is the time to use those modern techniques to really see the cash flow, see the supply chains, and give the finance. So that's how digital finance can work. track the progress and boost export. I thought that would be the best thing to do. So let me conclude now. As we can see that we can really further go for robust and sustainable growth of SMEs. If we can anticipating in our SME policies. So if we can implement those policies, we can really take it for robust and sustainable growth of SMEs, provided we can really give the macroeconomic supports, particularly the macroeconomic stability and the liquidity. Fortunately, as we said, the Bangladesh Bank and with the support of the government really created an environment in the post-pandemic situation. A lot of liquidity now is in the market. Not only Bangladesh Bank and the central bank has really created enough liquidity for the market, reduced the rates, different rates, made regulatory easing, so that a lot of money now available. Now the challenge is to use that money. I think amid the pandemic situation for the economy. So actually, we need to really refocus more on the SMEs so that we can really take the economy further. Stakeholders need to be as collaborative, coordinated, and innovative as possible to translate the stimulus commitments into desired outcomes. Let the potentials of SMEs be transformed into realities in the post-pandemic environment, which may create new opportunities for small and medium entrepreneurs. So, for example, we have already made some experimentation about the nano credit. So it's entirely artificial intelligence based. The banks and the mobile financial service are cooperating and giving small loans, like say 10,000 taka loans for the small entrepreneurs who can get it in 4 minutes. So I thought we need to move that smart and really go for digitally financing arrangements, so that our small entrepreneurs, particularly the women who have come a long way during the pandemic, they should be supported. And I thought our policies are in place. Now the challenge only remains for implementation. Thank you very much.